Hi everyone, Boruto Eggs is back with another video, and today I have another interesting matchup to cover. If you are subscribed to my channel for some time, by now you'd already know that I made an Itachi vs Pain video not so long ago. By the way, you are a real Chad if you've already watched it. If you haven't, I highly suggest you to do so. However, I have some corrections to make about the last part of that video regarding the Edo Itachi vs Edo Nagato part. So yeah, today's matchup will be Edo Itachi vs Edo Nagato. Without wasting any more time with useless talk, let's begin with the video, shall we? Edo Nagato has actually two forms, the grey-haired one, in which he was brought back to life thanks to the Edo Tensei, and the red-haired one, the one he got after he absorbed B's chakra. So the first matchup will be Edo Itachi vs grey-haired Nagato. Let's start really quick. When Naruto and Killer B were rushing to the battlefield, they met up with the Itachi and Nagato duo. While they were talking, Kabuto took advantage of the situation and started to forcefully control his Edo reanimations. Itachi threw a giant fireball at Naruto and B was able to cut that with his same hara. Then Itachi had a short spar with KCM1 Naruto and B in just taijutsu, which isn't even his strongest point, and whilst suppressed, since he had only his basic Sharingan active and not his Mangekyo. After that exchange in taijutsu, Kabuto intervened and he started to take control of Nagato's body. He used his universal pull in order to crush Naruto to a rock, but Naruto was able to counterattack and get away from Nagato's jutsu. Nagato and Itachi then divided. Nagato started to fight one-on-one against Naruto and Itachi one-on-one against Killer B. Itachi did very well against Killer B. The moment they started to fight, Itachi was able to put him under genjutsu and almost slashed his body with a kunai had not the 8 tails broke Itachi's genjutsu. If Kabuto knew about Itachi's Tsukiyomi and used it instead of a basic genjutsu, it's safe to say that Killer B would have died at that moment in time. Nagato was keeping Naruto occupied with his animal summonings, however, he wasn't pressing Naruto like Itachi was with B. Plus, the chapter later, we literally saw the dog summoning defeated on the ground, after he took a Raisin's Hurricane from Naruto head-on. Itachi was successfully able to break free from the Edo Tensei Jutsu thanks to Shizui's Kotomatsu Kami that he previously implanted in the crow, which was inside of Naruto. The moment Itachi was free, he immediately targeted the dog summoning and made him burn with his Amaterasu. After that, he immediately looked at Nagato and set him on fire too. After Itachi was done explaining how Shizui's eyes abilities and the plan he had with them, Kabuto nullified the Amaterasu that was covering Nagato and used the chameleon to make Nagato become invisible. He then went behind Naruto and Killer B and pushed them away with the Shinra Tensei. B went version 2 and he tried to lariat Nagato, however Nagato took the lariat head-on and he absorbed B's V2 chakra with his Gekido. That's all we have for grey-haired Nagato, and the winner between him and Edo Itachi should be obvious by now. Without surprise, this round goes to Edo Itachi. A fight between them already happened on screen. Nagato was basically immobile, so he couldn't dodge his Amaterasu, and his summonings are easily disposable for Itachi. Instead of going to talk with Naruto and B, this time Itachi would simply need to Totsuka Blade Nagato whilst is still burning and GG, easy win for him. Even though as an Edo, Nagato performed a crazy durability feat, that is tanking V2B's lariat without breaking apart, that's useless against Itachi since he doesn't need any AP to kill his enemies. By the way, the same lariat performed by a weaker B almost ended him as Sasuke and Kasame career, and against them he was only in version 1. Even if we give the chameleon as a starter summoning to Nagato, that still would be useless. As we saw in the Sasuke vs Deidara fight, the Sharingan can see the chakra colors of every living being or object that possess chakra, and the chameleon is not an exception to that. And, well, even if we say that for some reasons Itachi can't see the chameleon, he would easily block the Shinra Tensei with his Yada Mirror, since it's an unilateral attack. Nagato would simply get sealed, since he can't move on his own, and he needs his summonings to carry him around. So this one goes to Itachi. Now, let's see who would win between Edo Itachi and red hair Edo Nagato. Now, this matchup is more complex than the one before, but let's look at what they did in their fight. After Nagato absorbed B's chakra, he effortlessly grabbed KCM1 Naruto, and he was about to steal his soul with the ninjendo. Killer Bee came back and tried to save Naruto from getting his soul sucked away, but Nagato, thanks to his summoning shared vision, was able to intercept Killer Bee and capture him with his Shirado. Nagato was about to kill Naruto and Killer Bee off until Itachi came in clutch and crushed half of his body with his Susanoo. Nagato should have seen Itachi's attack coming. However, Itachi was smart enough to blind Nagato's summonings with his kunai by attacking them from blind spots where they couldn't see them coming. At that point, Kabuto used Nagato's strongest jutsu, the Chibaka Tensei, and Naruto, Bee, and Itachi were being pulled to its core due to intense gravitational pull. I know some people would say that Itachi could destroy the Chibaki Tensei alone, but that's not true at all. Itachi explicitly said that all of them had to use their strongest offensive, long-distance ninjutsu to break it. Itachi wasn't trying to teach no damn lessons about teamwork at that point. The point of this scene is that every jutsu has a weakness, and to discover what it is, you need to analyze carefully how the jutsu in question works. After the trio destroyed the Chibaka Tensei, Itachi stabbed Nagato with his Totsuka blade and sealed him. Now, most people think that Nagato couldn't dodge the Totsuka blade because his vision was obstructed by the smoke, but in reality, he couldn't dodge it because his legs weren't mobile enough. Kabuto, who was in control of him, literally said it. Now, to see who would win this matchup, we need to take many things in consideration. As for their strength, Nagato should have the edge. While Itachi did well against KCM1 Naruto and Killer Bee in their taijutsu exchange, Nagato in this regard was a step forward. As we saw before, he instantly grabbed Naruto and Killer Bee without any difficulty, and he was so close to kill them off had not Itachi intervened. If we talk about speed, Itachi has definitely the edge over grey hair Nagato, since he was basically able to blitz him with his Amaterasu. Red hair Nagato was relative with everyone in speed during that fight, so no one is going to blitz the other unless Itachi kills his summonings first, since Nagato can move only thanks to them. That's the sole reason Nagato got sealed by the Totsuka blade in the first place. Kabuto saw the attack coming, but he commented the fact that he couldn't make Nagato dodge it because his legs weren't working properly and he wasn't on any summoning. IQ and battle IQ goes to Itachi easily. He was instantly able to figure that Nagato's summonings had shared vision thanks to the Rinnegan and blind them from their blind spots. He instantly came up with a plan to destroy the Chibaki Tensei pretty easily. As for their hacks and abilities, I'd give abilities to Nagato, but hacks obviously to Itachi. The Rinnegan gives an insane amount of crazy abilities, and the capacity to use all 5 of the main chakra natures. However, Tsukiyomi, Yadamira, and Totsuka Blade are way better hacks that gives Itachi absolute defense and one-hit kill potential. Now that we saw everything we needed, how would a fight between the two of them at full power go? Let's see. Bansho Tenon, Nagato is pretty much fucked if he used that ability to pull Itachi to him. If they are close to each other, Itachi could simply seal him with the Totsuka blade, and Nagato wouldn't be able to dodge him. Shinra Tensei, that's one of the most useful jutsu Nagato could use. Against Itachi, he can keep his distance with him and try to not get sealed. Shirado, that's another good ability to keep his distance against Itachi. Nagato could spam missiles against him in order to do not let him come close enough to seal him. Ninjendo, sadly, this ability wouldn't be very useful for Nagato, and that's for 2 main reasons. First, he needs to be close to Itachi in order to suck off his soul. And second, it's not even an immediate thing. We saw Naruto being able to play tug of war against his soul for quite some time before it could have been too late for him. Chikushito, probably the most vital ability for Nagato in this fight, since, as we saw before, he cannot move on his own legs, he needs his summonings to carry him. However, if Itachi goes for them first, Nagato would be pretty out of options. Gakido, very useful to counter Itachi's Amaterasu and his common elemental jutsu, such as his Fireball Jutsu and Water Bullet Jutsu. Jigokudo, it would be kinda useless since it's not a fast ability, and Itachi could very much seal Nagato the moment he's near him being interrogated. Gedo, this one is completely useless since Nagato has no corpses which he could use to share his chakra with and control like puppets. And no, I'm not talking about the Gedo Mazo, but about the Gedo path, the one Nagato was while controlling the 6 paths of pain. Now, since they are both Edos, in order to win against Itachi, Nagato would need something in order to seal him. We saw before that he can't rip his soul out, and he can't kill him by extracting his tongue too, since Itachi would seal him in the meantime if he gets too close to him. So the only jutsu that would work against Itachi and successfully seal him in this fight would be the Chibaka Tensei. As we saw before, Itachi couldn't break it alone, so if Nagato is able to use it, he basically win this matchup. Now let's look at Itachi's abilities and see if Nagato could realistically counter them too. As for his basic abilities, Itachi can perform the Crow Clone Jutsu and then the Water Clone Jutsu, which at first sight they seem to be useless, but in reality they would be very useful in order for Itachi to create an opening to stab Nagato's summoning's eyes. The Fireball Jutsu would be useless in this matchup since Nagato can absorb it. And even if we say Itachi could hit Nagato with it, Nagato is an Edo, he wouldn't die by being hit by that. Now onto the real interesting abilities, we have the Amaterasu, which in this matchup would be useless too, since Nagato can absorb that, and he can even Shinra Tensei the flames away, like we already saw in the manga. However, Itachi has other 3 abilities that are a pain in the ass for Nagato to handle: Tsukiyomi, Totsuka Blade, and Yata. I'll get this straight, that Tsukiyomi would work on Nagato even if he has the Rinnegan. The Rinnegan was never associated with seeing through techniques and strong illusions, unlike the Sharingan. But what about Sasuke blocking the infinite Tsukiyomi with his Rinnegan, bro? Well, that's not what happened in reality. Sasuke blocked the light that was shining from the moon with his Susanoo. His eyes didn't do anything in particular. Nagato's Rinnegans were transplanted from Madara. Characters in Naruto with transplanted eyes cannot revert them in the stages before. Let's take a look at Kakashi for example. He had to constantly keep his Sharingan covered because he could not revert it to a normal eye. And Nagato never retracted his Rinnegan too, so we have the proof that transplanted eyes cannot be reverted to the stages before. The Totsuka Blade is a spiritual weapon that cannot be touched, or else you'd get insta-sealed. Against that, Nagato can't do really much other than keep his distance between him and Itachi. And with the Yata, Itachi could virtually block any attack that Nagato would throw at him. I'm not going to count the Izanami, since Edo Nagato was not trying to change his destiny anymore, and he was basically in a state of peace of mind. It would have definitely worked against a live Nagato, but not on his Edo version. I went over every important detail for this matchup. Now I will tell you who would win in my opinion. If Itachi starts the fight by using the Tsukiyomi, it's an insta-win for him. However, if Nagato starts the fight with his eyes closed and insta-Chibaka Tensei, it's a win for him. Now, which one of those scenarios is more realistic and likely to happen? I think the Itachi's won, and now I'll tell you why. Nagato never really started a fight by using his Chibaka Tensei. He did it last thing against Naruto the first time, and against Naruto, Itachi, and B the second time. He used it as a last resort. On the other hand, we have many instances in which Itachi used his Tsukiyomi first thing, or at the very beginning of his fights, such as when he used it on Kid Sasuke, on Kakashi, on Sasuke once again, and another time on Sasuke. It's needless to say, but once you're caught under the Tsukiyomi, Itachi can kill you instantly. He didn't do that against Kakashi because he was a double agent at that time, but in the novels, against his girlfriend Izumi. He made her live 80 plus years of life in her mind, and then she died of old age. Kabuto had to literally fight against Itachi, and he didn't make Nagato close his eyes. Based on what we saw, Itachi would be able to put Nagato under the Tsukiyomi and seal him with his Totsuka Blade. Like I said before, Nagato could win this matchup too, but he would have to fight out of character and use his trump card as a first move. So yeah, I did way more justice to Nagato in this video than in the Itachi versus Pain one. However, I still think Itachi would definitely win, since his hacks are too much for Nagato to handle. It's basically impossible to defeat Itachi if the character he's up against has the same stats as him. The only way to defeat Itachi would be via blitzing and one-shotting him. And that's basically it. Anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and share the video if you want to see more contents like this one. Stay tuned with the uploads, and see you next time. Peace.